Well, welcome everybody to our edition of this vid talk. I'm here with Mike Arnold with NAI. And Mike, you're down in Los Angeles, is that right?
I am West Los Angeles, and actually I'm looking out my window right now, and it's a sad sight to see so much darkness and sadness,
Yeah,
basically. So my thoughts and
absolutely.
prayers go out to everybody affected by this. We were on the cusp and ready to do something, but hey, at the end of the day, I have my health and I have my home, so I'm fortunate. So
Absolutely. The most important elements there. And obviously, during this time, I'm sure you have clients that are affected, right, by this tragedy. And so just
yeah.
keeping them in mind, being sensitive as we go about our business, right?
That's like even clients, friends, associates, competitors.
Sure.
It's a time to reflect on how fortunate you are and what you have. And frankly, it's been wonderful to see the community come together and give back and,
Yeah.
show us what a real community is. Not in particular, for example, in what I'm looking at, like the Palisades area,
Sure.
but that community is more prevalent to the world that I'm in than the Pasadena one. But that doesn't mean that it's just as awful for everybody there as well, or Altadena. So,
Definitely.
yeah, it's a tragic event.
Something about tragedy pulls us together though, and that's the
Yeah.
bright side of things. And overall, I think that we are in a pretty good spot for 2025. I feel like folks I'm talking to, people are excited. Obviously, this is a really hard thing for us to overcome, but we've got a
Yeah,
lot of positive momentum in other areas as well, right?
absolutely. Agreed.
Good deal, man. Well, Mike, I'd love to hear a little bit more about this specific transaction. This one here is 911 Broxton Avenue. Is that correct, down in Los Angeles?
It is, and the irony of the address with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
This has been a client of mine for a long time, and it's an amazing property. I mean, very rare do you find an asset that is as this unique. It's approximately 17,000 foot building, a little bit less, with two levels of subterranean parking,
Wow.
approximately 34 parking spaces. So it's a little over two per thousand, which again in Westwood is hard to find because everything's public parking.
Yeah.
It's really unique. There's private patios, excuse me, or balconies outside on the second level. The third floor is this beautiful exposed element. The floor plates are a little bit smaller, which makes it a little bit more unique.
Hmm.
Um, and then the ground floor is primarily used as administration office. UCLA is the tenant in the building. They'll be there through June of next year.
Okay.
So anybody who's looking at an opportunity to cash flow 1031 exchange, think about what their future goals are in the next 18 months, because this is about the time period in which companies do so.
Sure.
Um, this is a great owner user opportunity. And it reflects, I think, the identity of the owner, of how they care about the property and they've kept it up. And again, where else can you literally be across the street from DD Reese Cookies? So if you're on a diet, maybe not the right spot, but
The only use case where it's not the right property. Oh
but
man.
just amazing location,
Yeah.
off of Broxton, right down the street from Gailey, in between Westwood Boulevard, which is the main thoroughfare and entrance into UCLA, literally
Sure.
a half a block or a block down from the main entrance. So locationally, it's a no-brainer. If you're a C-suite, I would say in Brentwood, and or, if you still have your home in the Palisades, like from a
Mhm.
C-suite perspective, you're just shooting down Sunset and you're literally back end off of Sunset, pulling down the street right into your building.
That's
So
huge.
somebody who has the foresight and the ability and the wherewithal to perform and is looking for their own building. Conversely, there's a lot of tenants on Wilshire Boulevard, which is literally a hop, skip, and a jump down the street, that are in Westwood. And with the Westwood rents where they're at today, this is also an economic alternative relative to that. I was just going to think, like, right now, from a leasing perspective, we're withholding rents, but at we're probably relative to the market on a modified gross basis. We may consider going triple net depending, or even full service, perhaps, if it's the right tenant.
Yeah.
Ideally, we'd like to find a single tenant for the asset, but the way it's divided right now is we could find maybe two or three tenants, or maybe one or two tenants,
Sure.
depending on the use. Because when you enter the property, not from the parking, but from the street, you actually have a step onto reception, and there's two separate sides to the property, and then the elevator is directly behind it. So we
Hmm.
could create a common area there, separate those two sides if we really needed to,
Yeah.
and then use the elevator, because the elevator does go down to the parking. So it's a super unique, it's architecturally unique. Production companies to professional services, financial. We've had retail companies look at it for an event location, but we don't have a rooftop deck per se to have events on the top. But there's nothing else like it in Westwood. It just doesn't exist. So if you want to
Certainly.
get out of the way, you want a quick in and out up Sunset, get to the 405, get to Mulholland. It's great ingress, egress for that. If you like to have your own building, you don't want to be in a high rise traditionally, it's a great opportunity.
Wonderful. And the flexibility that you highlight there, I mean, the fact that it could be subdivided, definitely lots of different companies would work in this space.
And here's a unique part. We have UCLA paying rent through June of next year. So you can actually cash flow if you're coming out from a 1031 or your lease is up in a year, year and a half. You want to start going through some iterations of, permitting and whatnot and doing some construction to the premises. You can start that process today, right?
Okay.
And also get cash flow to offset whatever your debt service is. So, while we're marketing the property at 16 and a half, 16,500,000 right now. Ideally, I think it's valued at that, but for the right buyer, the right owner user, the right situation, ownership's not motivated because he's had this a long time. So it's got to be the right player for this. This isn't like, oh my God, I have to sell this. I'm distressed. Even if you say leaves, it's not a distress situation. So anyone who's looking to bottom feed from this isn't the right asset for that.
Yeah.
But again, the owner's realistic, and if it's the right buyer, the right timing, the right transaction, I think they're definitely focused on trying to sell it if we can, and if not, and we just lease it, that's a possibility as well.
Certainly. I mean, the location is irreplaceable, right? So it's definitely not a bottom feeder. It doesn't matter. Like you said, if UCLA leaves, you're still a block from them. You're a few
Yeah,
blocks from the 405. I mean, properties like this just don't pop up often, right? This is rare.
it's just so unique to be in actually the village. I mean, I was born and raised in Westwood. I grew up on Lynbrook. So I used to come hang out in the village when I did things like this. So I used to see the building when I was, much younger,
Sure.
much younger, when we used to come hang out in the village. But just, having the opportunity to have this irreplaceable asset, I think is what you said. And I think you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is. It's an irreplaceable asset.
Awesome. Well, Mike, the fact that this is your backyard, you're so familiar, you have history in this area, I think brings additional value for those that are looking to contact you and discuss this deal. You have that experience to bring to the table, which is wonderful.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Very excited about the opportunity.
good deal. Well, Mike, it's been a pleasure working with you. Everyone watching this, please give Mike a call. Definitely a really unique opportunity. Check out the edited photos that we've provided. I think they show just how beautiful the location is and what's
So
going on.
my email address is marnold@naicapital.com. Phone number is 310-694-4550, 310-694-4550. And it's marnold@naicapital.com.
Wonderful. And as we sign off, Mike and I will both just wish anyone down here in the Southern California, Los Angeles area, our wishes and just best of thoughts if you were affected by the fires and everything going on.
God bless.